my name is Faith, also known as Arlandria Speaks. If you're watching this video, then you are attempting to manifest something, and that's not even an attempt. We're gonna say I will. We're gonna say you will manifest this, okay? So if you're struggling with manifestation or trying to figure out how you can full scope learn how to bring something in that you've been struggling to bring in for quite some time, this could be for beginners, but it could also be for intermediates. I also do want to disclose a couple of things before we start. You truly have to embody what you want in order for you to receive what you want. And part of embodying what you want in order to receive what you want is you have to make space for those things to come in. A lot of the time people with manifestation think, oh, if I just think this thing's gonna happen, then it will. And it's not that simple. It's got a lot more to do with making room. It's like you got to clean out the closet. When you're cleaning out your closet, it's full of the old version of you, right? And if you want to allow a new version of you to come in, a new desire to come in, you have to clean out the old things that are no longer in alignment with you. If you're trying to go from, this person to this person, and that transition has to happen, in order for that transition to happen, you have to take action behind it. So this is just a disclosure. This is my knowledge. I have manifested quite a few things. One of them is my apartment, one of them is my partner, and another one of them is like my literal dream to be a tarot reader full time. I actually quit my job a couple of weeks ago, and my life has completely changed since then. So if you want to build into your career, meet the person that you really truly is going to take you away from, the old cycles, the love cycles that you've been in for such a long time, or if you're trying to manifest a dream, a purpose, a desire, a wish, this video is for you. Okay, so we're gonna start about step one. Step one is intention. When you're manifesting something, right, you can't just say, this is for an example, I want somebody to come in who genuinely loves me. That's not specific enough. The universe only believes in the present tense. So this is like basic, like 101. The universe does not believe in past, the universe does not believe in future. The universe only knows the present. So if you're saying, you have to be very, very clear with what your intentions are and how you want things to come in for you. Yes, you should allow space for that, like that uncertainty or that clarity to come in. But when you're being intentional, what I'm saying is being intentional. You want to say, if you want a partner, write down what you want in the partner that you're attempting to manifest in. If you're trying to get a career, write down your plans for this career, what you plan to do, how much money you want to make, where you want to work, what state you want to work in, if you want to work a 9 to 5, if you want to work in this field, if you have to go to school for it, put the intention behind you getting into whatever school you're trying to get into in order for you to build on that career. Same thing with habits. Habits have a huge part and a huge thing to do with manifestation. So you have to change your habits if you want things to change. You cannot be at a level of feeling like you're attached to somebody, something all the time if you're trying to look for something or someone to come in for you and actually genuinely love you. You have to detach from the outcome, right? So same thing with like if you're trying to lose weight. I lost 30 pounds so far. I mean, I know it don't look like it. I got a little ways to go. But if you're trying to manifest something, you have to be intentional and you have to think of all the things that are going to go along with that. So if you're saying, oh, I want to lose weight, then you actually actively have to focus and shift your perspective or your identity on what you eat, the things that you eat, the things like the physical activity that you're inhibiting. You have to look at it from a perspective of how am I going to make this happen and how is the universe going to help me? Because a manifestation is a co-creation. You're co-creating with the universe or you're co-creating with God. It's a decision that you make with this person. You're choosing it. So in order for you to choose it, you can't just say, oh, I want this to happen. I want a new house. Okay, so how are you going to get to that house? Are you going to get a loan? Are you going to save? Are you financing the house? Where do you want to live? Start looking at those houses, things like that. You have to be more mindful and more intentional with how you move. Okay, that's step one. Figure out what your intentions are. Figure out a plan on how you want things to go. Because if you're creating a plan, you allow space for the universe to help you with that plan. And you're also showing and putting effort into what you're trying to manifest in so that the universe can help you. Okay, step 2 is desire versus embodiment. You can desire all day. You can say, oh, I would love $1 million, or I want to start making more money. And you can think that, right? That thought is not what's going to create the action, though. That thought is not what's going to make things speed up for you. It's the embodiment that makes things different. So if you're wanting to make more money, ask yourself how much money you're making now and what the increase of what you're looking for is. Because it doesn't mean it has to be specific. It doesn't have to go the exact way that you want it to go, right? But you're still creating a plan in order for the universe to see what you're actually trying to build, okay? If you're trying to say, I want to get paid to exist simply, part of it is like, what can you do that's passive income? How can you create passive income? And that will get you basically getting paid to exist and creating that too, even. So desire versus embodiment. If you're trying to lose weight and you're sitting on the couch all day, how are you going to lose the weight if you're doing the exact same things that you were doing? The definition of insanity is literally doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's kind of what the difference between desire versus embodiment is. If you're trying to if you want to be a content creator, you have to do the work. You have to say, okay, I want to be a content creator. I'm embodying being a content creator. I'm going to cut out pieces of time where I can create content. I'm going to put content out. I'm going to make a new account. And this doesn't mean you have to do it all at once. Don't rush yourself, but also make the plan and make the embodiment change. The consistency has to be there. Okay? Visualization. Visualization is incredibly important. This could be you meditating or having a meditative experience of you dreaming that dream. Sometimes, a lot of the time actually, our minds, this is a scientific thing. I don't know how to explain it in the best way, but the best way to explain it to me, you can also look this up on YouTube, is basically when you're dreaming about things or thinking about things, your brain and your perspective do not know the difference. Like the universe does not know the difference between you like daydreaming something and you actually living it. So if you're in the embodiment of what you want to do in your head, the universe is taking that as a sign that's what you're doing, or that's what you're intending to do. So do visualizations. Be intentional with visualizations. Also scripting. You can literally script in present tense. This is what's happening. This is my daily routine. Write down in specifics how you want things to look. Because that will literally change. It will help you see a new scope of how you want things to come in for you. But it will also show the universe, oh, this is exactly what they want. How can I go about providing that for them? Okay? Also, motivation versus momentum. This is step 4. So motivation comes and goes, right? If we want something to happen, it's like some days you're going to have the motivation to want to do it, and other days you're not going to. The motivation isn't what matters. It's the momentum that counts. The momentum is what makes success inevitable. The momentum is what makes your manifestation inevitable, no matter how long it takes. You have to have the decision that, you know what, no matter what the timeline looks like, I'm going to strive for this. I'm going to release the feeling that I need to attach a timeline to it, and I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to show up for that thing. It doesn't have to be every day. But I'm saying if you're creating momentum, it makes it like you're literally embodying it. That goes up to the top part, embodying it. So you would literally be, quite literally, embodying what you're doing and creating momentum behind it. And when you're creating momentum behind it, you're showing the universe that you can show up without seeing the result. And a huge part of manifesting is faith. A lot of people don't talk about that. A huge part of manifesting is believing in what you cannot see yet in the 3D and not getting disappointed because you haven't seen it yet. All right. Discouragement and detaching. This has a lot to do with motivation. It's like there are going to be definitely times where you're like, okay, it's not here yet. It's not here yet. It's not here yet. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? The more you say that to yourself, the longer it's going to take. If you are so focused on the achievement of the thing that you're trying to bring in, things are going to take a lot longer. If you just focus on the journey, if you focus on the process, if you focus on the 1% increase that you're building every single day, you can say, oh, wow, look at this. I gained whatever. I gained $5 extra that I put into my savings in order to get to this house that I want to get to. Or look at this. I applied for my dream job today and they didn't approve me, but guess what? I'm even closer to getting what I want. And when things happen that like are colliding or bring you disappointment, like let's say you're trying to get into a different career field. If you're trying to apply for these jobs and they're telling you no, if you get discouraged and you just give up, you're going to show the universe that you don't want it that badly. And the universe is going to be like, oh, well, I guess they don't want it. Part of it is that, but then it'll show up like years later, honestly. But if you are continually focusing on the things that you know that the universe has your highest good in mind, and you keep going despite it, if people tell you no, if things tell you no, if the relationship tells you no, just remind yourself, there's probably something better for me out there, and that's why this didn't work out. You kind of have to trick your brain into thinking that. Get rid of the how. This has a lot to do with the detachment. And detachment, I want to say, is probably the hardest thing to overcome when you're trying to manifest something, is like wanting to know when it's happening, how it's going to happen. And a huge part of it is just, like I said, embracing the journey. We struggle very, very much with, confirmation burp. Thank you. With very, very much with like instant gratification. A lot of things happen quickly in our society, right? So we're expecting a quick result. We're expecting it to happen right away. And part of it, I feel like, is getting rid of the how. How is it going to come in? I don't know how I'm going to get to this point from this point. Maybe your dream is to be a singer and you're like, how am I supposed to get from nothing to there? And it's like, all you have to do is take the first step and the universe will lead the way. Yeah, there's going to be times of stagnancy, but in the stagnancy, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to gain a lot of experience. You think I knew that I was going to be doing tarot full time and I was going to be a content creator? No, I didn't know that. But when I decided that I wanted to do it, I still showed up every day, even when I got no likes. I still showed up every day, even when I got no views. Even now, shit. You can't allow the discouragement to stop you from what you know is yours. It's already yours. And when you realize that it's already yours, you're still going to show up for that, even if it hasn't come that day, because you know that this is just the little piece. This could be the next piece. This could be the piece that you needed in order to get to that point. This could be the song that you needed. This could be the relationship that you needed, the date that you needed. If you're trying to look for a partner and you're like, this date went horrible, you could be like, okay, well, what did I learn from that experience? You have to really consider and think about, it's really a perspective thing. It's deciding that the universe is always working in your highest good. And when you see things in that way, you don't necessarily see the things that are hard as negative. You see them as a challenge or as a learning experience. And when you take things as a learning experience, it allows you to get so much closer to the things that you want faster. It literally only took me 2 years to go viral on TikTok. It only took me 2 years. A lot of people say, oh, this success is overnight. Success happens overnight. No, there's a lot of groundwork that people don't see. There's a lot of groundwork that people aren't going to see, and that's okay. A huge part of it is just relaxing. Relaxing and allowing what needs to happen. And when I'm saying relaxing, I mean don't let your emotions control you, control your emotions. And when I'm saying this, I don't mean to like be in toxic positivity, right? I'm saying allow yourself to process what you need to process, but don't sit in it for too long. Like if it comes up, if you're having these feelings, talk to yourself about it. Why am I having these feelings? What's going on? Because if you just allow it to sit within you, it's going to delay your process. It just is. And part of it is also gratitude. That comes a lot to do with faith. Faith and gratitude coincide each other. If you're not grateful for what you have now, do you really think that the universe is going to give you more? If you're not in the perspective or in the embodiment of faith or gratitude now, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to actually be happy when you reach that achievement and want more versus just being excited that you made it to that point. All right. Perspective. I already talked about perspective. Oh, ask for help. Literally say, if you believe in God, hey God, can you help me with this? Can you give me more information? Give me new ideas. Help me get into this career field. Help me be more creative. Help me lean into this. Help me gain more followers. Whatever it is you're trying to do, help this person come into play. Because if you're asking from a genuine place and you're asking for the basically the embodiment of the gratitude or the gratefulness or deserving, you also have to feel like you're deserving of it already. That's another thing. But like, if you feel as though you're deserving of it, just ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, and asking for help in the physical realm too. Like, hey, y'all, I'm really like loving this project idea. Do you want to join in on it? Do you want to collaborate with me? Even like finding like-minded people that are very similar to what you're doing or very similar, have experience in what you've done already. Look at their process, because that will help lead you closer to what you're doing. Don't copycat them, but also think about how they got there. How did they get there? Because it'll bring you closer. It'll show you that it's possible, for one. And for two, it'll get you in the mindset of knowing that it is going to happen for you. It may not look exactly the way their journey looked, but it's still going to bring you to the point of understanding that I can do it too. I can make it too. It doesn't have to look the exact same, but I know it's there. And I know I can build from there. I did talk about toxic positivity. A lot of people say with manifestation that it has to do with your thoughts. And it also has to do with like keeping your emotions in check. There is a huge thing that has to do with emotions, but you don't have to be happy all the time in order for you to get a manifestation to come in. You're human. You're human. You're allowed to be sad, and actually pushing yourself and forcing yourself to feel things that you don't actually feel is going to take you further from the thing that you want. So allow yourself to process. Like I said, you don't have to sit there and ruminate, but you can. If something comes up, it's coming up for a reason, and that needs to be dealt with, because part of it is limiting beliefs. Part of it is combating those limiting beliefs that you have about your manifestation. Oh, I don't feel like I'm worthy enough to be with this person. Well, why do you feel that way? Don't just ignore it, because it's not going to come in the way that you want it to. But if you actually sit down and ask yourself that question, you're going to be even closer than you think to what you're trying to build. Okay? Like I said, let go of the timeline. I know that's hard for some people, but it's like if you constantly keep checking the oven or saying, hey, is it there yet? You wake up, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? I'm checking your contact list, checking your dating app, checking your social media. Is it there yet? It's going to basically show that you don't have the faith, that you're not trusting that it's for you. And then you're basically saying to the universe, I can't receive it yet because I'm not ready. That's what you're telling the universe. That's what you're telling God. That's what you're telling source. And you also have to recognize that you have the power within you. A lot of the time people, they completely say, I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm just going to give it up to God. No, don't just give it up to God, because God wants you to put the work in. Part of being in connection with spirit, and you don't have to be spiritual to have a manifestation come to light, but I'm going to bring that into it because I am a spiritual person, is you have to recognize the God within you. You have to recognize that your perspective creates your universe. And because we all are connected to source or embodied in source, there are gods within ourselves. That's why it's called a co-creation. You're creating with God. You are also a God within yourself. So you have to recognize your power there. That you are not powerless to the situation. You are not powerless in your control or in your ability to be within the universe. You have power too. You have power too. So like, see it in that way as well. Work on that perspective too. I mean, and then think of all the times that it did work out. I know that they're like, it's so easy to like, to say like, oh, well, I wanted this like years ago and it's here now. And it's so easy to like forget about those things, like the things that we're grateful for too, right? Like I even said this the other day to my partner. I was like, oh my gosh, I just realized that when we moved in here, I moved in with like my lifelong partner and I got an apartment that I wanted, that we needed within a month. And I didn't even take the time to be grateful for that when I wanted it so badly. So think about all the times that it worked out, all the times, because you're still here, you're still alive, right? Even if you haven't manifested something insane, it's like you're still alive. So you clearly manifested that at least. Or you manifested your career that you're in now. Maybe you really wanted that job at one point. You really wanted that job at one point. Or you really wanted the partner that you're with. Or you really wanted... That could be significant. We got sirens in here, y'all. We got sirens in here, y'all. So that's saying like you're gonna get what you want. But like what I'm saying is you have to be in alignment with like what you want, and think about all the times that it genuinely did work out for you, because I know that there are a million. You're probably just not looking at it. And when you think of things that way, it changes your perspective and it shows you that these things are possible. I want to touch on one thing before I go, and don't forget to like this video if you haven't yet, but confirmation bias. It's a psychology term. You can look it up, but confirmation bias is this bias that you have inside your head about your beliefs, your belief systems, your limiting beliefs, and how you view the world. Your brain is going to show you examples of anything that you believe in, truly. So if you're seeing chaos all the time in the world, that's because that's your perspective. And your brain is going to show up and confirm everything that you believe about the world, because you are the universe. You are seeing the universe in the light and in the perspective of how you see it. So if you're constantly seeing things in a negative light, it's because your bias is there. And you should probably go about working on that bias or working on those limiting beliefs to get yourself to where you want to go. I want to touch on something really quick too. I literally came from nothing. I was mentally ill for a really long time, and I didn't know how to go from mentally ill to healed, but I did it. And you can always meet that space where it feels like things are impossible, but I'm telling you, the impossible is possible. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay? So just keep that in mind. I hope this video helps. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And I hope you have an amazing weekend or week or whatever day it is for you. Okay, bye.